Do they have to ship it in?
Well, let me tell you something. Went to a place that, Triple D, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yes.
They said, you got to try this place over in Brooklyn. And so I go out there Sunday after church. I sit down there, and I should have become alarmed when my iPhone got stuck to the table.
Ooh.
That's never a good sign.
No, never a good sign.
And it's something else you can't get in New York City soon. If you order a pizza, I understand you're not going to be able to get a 2-liter soda with that.
This is true, and I have to confess, guys, that I've been hoarding what will soon be illegal contraband in New York City.
16-ounce sodas.
Well, those 2 liters of I call them Baptist martinis, which is a Diet Coke with a wedge of lemon.
Wait. Hey, Todd, let's talk about the story. You covered it last week involving Tim Tebow and his cancellation of an appearance he was supposed to make at the First Baptist Church in Dallas end of April or sometime in April. And we covered that story, but I wanted to know what you know about this.
Guys, I got to tell you, I've been getting some serious fire from Tebow supporters and some really nasty emails. And the idea that how dare you question, Mr. Tebow and his actions? How dare you? But look, at the end of the day, I don't think that we're bashing Tim Tebow at all. On the contrary, I think the true victim in all of this is the First Baptist Church of Dallas, Texas. And that's what I think we're going to be focusing on. I'm doing an afternoon commentary on this. But people need to take this and step back for a second to understand what happened, because there are a couple of issues. First, the First Baptist Church reached out to Mr. Tebow and invited him to come and speak at their church, paying him, entering into a contractual agreement that involved thousands of dollars, from my understanding. So this agreement was in place. He was going to be paid thousands of dollars to come and speak at this church. And then the big hullabaloo erupted over the church's position on salvation and gay marriage, which, quite frankly, are traditional values held by every evangelical church in the country, including, by the way, Mr. Tebow's home church. He's a member at the First Baptist Church of Jacksonville, Florida, which shares the same values. For whatever reason, we understand that as this firestorm erupted, Mr. Tebow contacted the pastor, Robert Jeffers, and decided to bow out. And then, instead of doing it privately, instead of doing it discreetly, what happened? Mr. Tebow went and posted this notice on his Facebook and Twitter pages, and it became the national story that it is. The church didn't ask for any of this. They had simply invited him to come and speak. So at the end of the day, I think it's unfair to cast blame at the church, because they haven't done anything wrong here.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I watched it. We have on our website, onenewsnow.com, we have a link to your story, Todd, from yesterday, and the video clip that you have there of Dr. Jeffers speaking to his church. Dr. Robert Jeffers, the senior pastor there at First Baptist Church in Dallas. I agree with you. We took the same kind of heat. We had some calls, people mad at me for criticizing Tim Tebow, and I understand the emotional connection people have with him, because, he's been a great Christian witness in the public for, a number of years now. Nobody's questioned that. But, the guy's human, okay?
Oh, yeah.
He can make mistakes, and in this case he did. In my opinion, what happened was he, as you say, Tim Tebow agreed to take this speaking engagement a long time ago. I don't know, at least way back to back in the fall of, I heard Dr. Jeffers talk about this in the fall of 2012. So he's been under contract for a long time to come and speak to this church. Then when CBS Sports columnist released a column and saying that Tebow should not speak at this church because it's a church that preaches hate, that's when Tebow canceled, okay? So Tim Tebow, you can say what you want to. Hey, I love the guy. I bought an $80 jersey for my wife last year with Tebow's name on the back of it. It doesn't mean his life's over. He's got to move forward. And I'm sure he'll have a great Christian, ministry in the future. But on this one, he folded to the pressure of political correctness or money. I don't know which or both. But but Todd, that's the only way you can read this. And I'm sorry if that offends people. Go ahead.
Well, at the end of the day, it's none of my business why Tim Tebow did what he did. He's an American. He can speak wherever he wants to speak. I think the concern I have is for this congregation,
right,
which has been attacked and slandered, and they've been called every name under the book for believing traditional values and believing biblical values,
right,
that all evangelicals share. So I think that is, at the end of the day, that's the point. That's the part of this that seems to be getting swept under the carpet, is that this church got thrown under the bus.
Yes.
So I'm not sure who was advising, Mr. Tebow on all of this, but I think he got some really bad advice. And that's not to say, people, they don't need to go out there and bash Tim Tebow, but they also don't need to be bashing First Baptist Church Dallas, and that's what's happening.
Right.
Todd, Ed Vitagliano here. One of the things that surprises me about the backlash that we've gotten, for example, is, when you're dealing with very public personalities like Tim Tebow or the president or a member of Congress or a Hollywood actor or actress, they know that by being out in the public limelight, they're going to be talked about. And it seems to me that many of the people who don't mind AFA calling out the president on a particular issue, or calling out Nancy Pelosi on a particular issue, or calling out Saturday Night Live on a particular issue, suddenly get the hair up when you talk about Tim Tebow. And to me, we should be pursuing truth. We should be charitable to everybody. We shouldn't be vicious or venomous. But if you're going to be in the public limelight and you're going to take a public stand on issues, you should be big enough to take a little heat if people disagree with you.
It's interesting because I think that's lost in all of this is the warning, is the threat that's been levied against any church now that wants to invite any, for the lack of a better term, so-called Christian celebrity or well-known Christian person. That if, in fact, you invite that person to your church, your congregation, your pastor is going to come under intense scrutiny and investigation as a result of that. And that really is sort of a frightening thing that that CBS and NBC and, many of these activist groups are going to come after your church simply for inviting a person to come and speak because of the values that the church may or may not hold.
Yeah, that's what was so disappointing about this with Tim Tebow canceling on the church. I mean, because by him canceling, he's implying I agree with these critics of the First Baptist Church. In fact, I agree with them enough that I'm not even going to go there.
Well, it's intentional or not, that's the way it was interpreted, because you have every gay rights group in the country, praising Tim Tebow's decision. Again, I think he just got bad advice. And, at the end of the day, it's his decision to make. I'm not criticizing Tim Tebow. I am criticizing those who are attacking this church, because all they did was extend an invitation for him to come and speak, and look at what's happening to them. And my concern is this will happen to other churches around the country as a result. I think this is, again, a new front in the culture war.
One other point on this, Todd, and I mentioned that Tim Tebow, at least the way I'm reading this, is and I know you're not going on record with this. This is me speaking, not Todd, but that it's either political correctness or money would be the reasons he would cancel an appearance that he had committed to go to the First Baptist Church. And I don't mean that in a way that I don't understand how the real world works.
Right.
Okay? Tim Tebow is a celebrity, a sports celebrity. He has endorsers, or he has companies that he endorses. He has business deals. He has a team that he plays for that writes him a paycheck to play football. The NFL, all these things, they may have put the squeeze on him. You know what I'm saying? They may have said, listen, you go to this church, you're going to be out this, we're going to cancel your contract. Okay.
You see, Tim, I see what you're saying there, but I respectfully, I'm going to have to disagree on that, because I'm
speculating
based on Tim Tebow's, personal witness and the way he has conducted himself, I believe that he's a man of integrity and a man who is going to stand for what's right over the almighty dollar. I just suspect that he got bad advice, and
Todd, let me jump in here and ask you, because we're running out. Just a quick question. Since Tim Tebow has so much support from the evangelical community, do you think he owes the evangelical community a further explanation of why he decided not to speak at this church?
I think he owes the First Baptist Church of Dallas an explanation, specifically for his reason why he backed out. He left it, he said, new information. He never explained what that information was, and it almost gave the impression that there was something nefarious or something out there that no one else knew about. So I think that he doesn't owe me an explanation, but I think he owes the church members, the young boys and girls who are members of the First Baptist Church of Dallas, I think they deserve an explanation. But at the end of the day, what about Robert Jeffress and this amazing response he gave? We have a man in this country, a pastor in the pulpit, who is not willing to compromise at the altar of political correctness, and I think that says a lot.
Hey, Todd, thanks for your time, my friend. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks, guys.
That's Todd Starnes from the Fox Radio News. And you can